Hello and welcome to the Unit 2, Week 3 of the online result-based monitoring and evaluation course delivered by Cloneshouse, Nigeria. This is the second unit. In the first unit, we have discussed how to prepare your data for analysis, and not just to forget that. We ended up cleaning our data and adding codes to it, making it look proper and ready for analysis. And in Unit 2, we will be actually analyzing this data set. It's important that you note that your assignment for your task 1 is to create this and upload. Then your task 2 will then be to do an analysis of this, both your analysis, the results in a slide. And that's what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of minutes, in showing us how to analyze this data. If you remember what we actually have as a key variables, where there's 3. And just to also note that these are also related to, especially these 2 are actually related to our indicators that we developed in week 1. Week 1, Unit 4, in developing key indicators for our project. For us to remember, Waterways is the NGO, and they are actually undergoing a chlorine distribution in Kiribati, where they have access to dirty water. They do not have access to clean water, and also there's a high prevalence of diarrhea. And what the NGO did was to think about the chlorine distribution program. Chlorine could be used in purifying the water that they use. So one of our indicators was that is to actually look at the change. I think the outcome stage was change in the usage of chlorine to purify water in Kiribati, and also reduce number of times in which children visit the hospital. Those are the 2 indicators that we identified for our chlorine distribution program. And these are just for this is for the purpose of the class, and not like and almost close to what obtains in the real practical world. But what we're talking about is actually for the classroom. So some of these things take days, weeks, stakeholders sitting down and trying to for instance, you build indicators with stakeholders, with beneficiaries. So this is perhaps for the class. So we're going to do an analysis of this, factoring in. We can think about these 3 variables, and also look at it in terms of gender. Like, if you're doing an analysis, it's good you have a question, and those are the questions that we already have in our indicator. So I could decide to just think about looking at, like I said, the number of times chlorine is used in a week, disaggregated by gender, for example. So I could know that, and I could also know the total number of people, uh, how the people in this community uses chlorine to purify their water in a week. So um, yeah, so that's a question I can take a look at, and I can also think about, okay, what do they feel about the distribution that was done by our distributor? How did they the messages they passed across when they were distributing the chlorine to the users? How did the users feel? What was the users' perspective about the distribution, the communication behind the distribution? That's another thing we can also look at, and we can look at the number of children. We can look at the frequency in which children uses or visits the hospital. You can look at that as well, and you can go further and be doing several cross tab and all. Also, but that's all we're going to do. And don't forget, we have cleaned this data, right? So we do not have any attribution to anybody. We do not know them anymore, and that's what good analysis does for you. I can decide to rename this as analysis 1. So there's something called the pivot table, which also Excel has as well. So just for you to know that the spreadsheet is also the same thing as the Google spreadsheet did the same thing as Microsoft Excel as well. So, but I mean, I like using this because it has so many tools in it that you can use, and you can quickly, and also that you can quickly share it with people, and you can get feedback and work with as much people as possible on a document. So that makes it interesting for me anyways. And also that its presentation, the built-in presentation is marvelous. Well, we will try and use it in presenting our analysis, which is what you're actually supposed to upload as a task for this particular unit. So what do we go ahead and do? So what I normally do is think about the most useful variable that I need, and also take them out, and also remove the ones that I might not want to use, and all that. So maybe I do not need the segmentation by. So what I will do is also do another one. Let me do this and rename this as clean analysis 1. I'll do this again. Duplicate. Then I have name clean analysis 2, and yep. So I have the second one. I do not need this actually, so I can delete that column. Child number, age, I do not need it. Not important for me. I don't need this as well, which is the qualitative response, delete column. I need something fresh that I can work with. I might not necessarily need this number of respondents also, so but I mean, it might be useful if I want to know the number of communities that might be helpful. Maybe I just need the 20 respondents in male and female, the count of male and female, possibly, if I want. But Excel has this thing, spreadsheet has this explore, which you can actually use could be interesting. All you need to do is just click on the row if I want to know the number of male to female, and I hope you're seeing the counts like he's counting 21. So you need to take cognizance. It also tells us here that it's counting 21. So once you click explore, it gives you it uses artificial intelligence to give you a presentation of the analysis. I can just edit this and say A2, right? A2. So which means A2, so it's trying to cover all the rows to G21. So you see G21. So the rows and the columns. So update so that I can get my $20. So at times this can actually be messy. So 7 plus 13. So you have your gender to male to female gender here. Just be careful that your respondent is actually 20, so you don't have so 65% of the respondents were male. I might be interested in this, so I can click on insert chat, and one of the ways I can maybe delete this if I want. Boom. Let me just do that and delete. So let me open my presentation. So you're supposed to, so this is task 2, right? 3, task 2, quantitative data analysis. So boom, I have this, and I can, so this is my slide actually. Google presentation slide is something you can always get in your drive as well. So okay, I can do this. I can maybe look for a team, set up a simple team. Yeah, maybe something like this. Cool. Oops. And I put my name. Lexiangs. Yes, something like that. And so, new slide. Then I say gender of respondents. So let's go back to document, copy chart, and let's see if I can paste it here. Boom. I can link it to the sheet so that as I upload the sheet it changes, but I don't want that, so let's just paste it here, and boom. So I start putting together my, if it's also by household, fine, you can. So I like doing this. this way, and I create a description here for someone that is, because this might not be visible actually, so but I can, so I'll just say that respondents were male, while 35% were female. Anyway, pie charts are not desist from using pie charts. Once you're having 4 or 5 variables to differentiate, please desist from it. It's good for differentiating 2 variables, just like you have in terms of this gender now. Once you want to differentiate between 5 or 2, 3, 4 categories, then it's something else. So, but I mean, and that's me personally, but also is a standard. So if you've written several good books about presentation, you would have seen this actually. So yeah, so I can have that, then go back to my so I can delete. Yeah, I don't need it anymore anyways, but yeah, so you can still explore more, but when you start seeing 19, why I do not use this is at times it gives me some numbers that are not actually complete. So would be great if I get away from here. And so um one tool that you can use in quickly doing analysis across variables, like looking at genders that says 3 times in a week, that they do use chlorine 3 times in a week. So we call it cross tabs in SPSS, or SPSS, which is the statistical software for social sciences. Here we will not be doing that or going to that in this class, but yes, this is what we'll be using. So is called pivot table in Excel and also in Google spreadsheets as well. I'm not sure who's copying who in both of them. So so one thing you need to think about is, yes, we've prepared a table already. So make sure you have all by Control A. You pick all. Don't so then you click on data, and you see so you see pivot table here. So you can use pivot table for cross tabulation. That's what it means. And you see the new sheet. So I want it to be on a new sheet. That's what it means. So great. So I'm going to see something, rows and columns. So you have rows, columns, filters. So rows means that, so it's just like you having a row and something in column with values. So for example, in my rows, so what I normally do is at times I just create tables just to show what I need. So something like this before I even get into so I could say, oh, female, I want to know the number of female and male who used chlorine, right? Who used chlorine, and also so let me go back there. Boom. So child use dispar CHL use this per. Then what's the third one? Child hosp. You know, many people do ask us, oh, as an M&E officer, I'm supposed to actually know how to do analysis and all that. But one thing is that yes, it's an added value to you to be able to do the analysis you want to do, because you might not necessarily get into doing inferential statistics and all, but in descriptives are the ones that are mostly important. Yes, you can now get to another level when you want to do inferential statistics, and this online course doesn't cover that. If you're interested in that, then you should yes, write an email to training@cloneshouse.com. The other courses that we offer that goes deeper into data analysis and also inferential statistics and randomization. But this just introduced the basic data analysis that you can still use even as an evaluator, and that we still even use in some of the projects and programs that we do evaluate. So yeah, so I can have something like this. Then let's go back to a period table. So it's just the same thing that you might have here. So when you click, you have rows, columns just being suggested just on this right hand side. So what that shows is that let's go back to the sheet. Look at it, the rows are male and female, right? So that's gender, right? So you go to row. So you just take a look at this. At times this can just be crazy that you have different categories, different variables. Imagine that you have up to like 50 questions. So you need to be looking at 50 variables in here and trying to match one with one. Also, that if you had not cleaned it and shorten, for instance, the variables, the header, then you will be struggling with the question. So that's why preparing it for analysis is very, very important. So I'll pick gender here, and columns will be chlorine use, and values. So the number of, so you can see oops, those that said 3 times in a week, those that said twice in a week, those that use it every day in a week. You can see them here. So I mean, this quickly tells you here the number of female that uses this every week for a male, and also it tells you that yes, 8 out of the 20 uses chlorine every week, right? Every day of the week uses chlorine to purify their water. That's what this tells you. If this hasn't been in form of individuals and it's household, then you can also say that yes, 8 household out of 20, 8 out of 20 respondents are able to use chlorine every day of the week. So and you can say that those that use it 3 times in a week. So if the standard is that you use it at least 3 days, 3 times in a week, what you will be reporting on in your indicator is that, so 8 plus 5, that's 13. So 13 out of 20 uses chlorine to purify the water all the time. And I mean, Also think about the design. If the design had allowed you collected baseline data, then you want to think about the difference between what you have now and what you had then. So think about it, and that's part of our fourth week classes looking at evaluation designs. So one other way to also interpret this or show this actually is to also use is to present this in percentages, right? So and why do we normally present in percentages? If you know the answer, please make a comment in the classroom on why you would want to present in percentages and not in numbers. That's also a very huge discussion that one can have. So we go in the values, and I'm talking about the values now instead of it being in numbers. So I mean, you can start making lots of inference. So you can show it as, so the values, you can show it as percentage of grand total, which means the percentage of every other one. So you can have this in form of percentages, and so this is what the table shows you. Yeah, 40% of the respondents says they're using this every day of the week. 25% said they've used it 3 times in a week. They've used chlorine to purify their water in a week, so that's what it means. One good thing about this is that you can, while in here you can, let's go to data, and you can insert your chart also. Skip that, delete chart. Let's be able to take all this, right? And what I can do actually is make sure I have it in a clean, I like having my chart in a clean format. So see, although I can have it inside of it, doesn't necessarily matter, it doesn't matter. And so you know, with that, I do not need this part. We'll go to chart, insert chart. And boom. So I have a chart in here that I can use. I need to exclude my grand total. I do not. Oh, it's on the. So, well, oops. So one thing I can do, I like the way Google presents its table. Oops. What was that? I need to shift this. Okay, let me see. I should be able to. Data range. Yep, I do not want the grand total. Oh shit. So I need to remove, it should be at it should be till F3, the data range. I can actually remove it, but so oops. So I have this. Makes it interesting, right? So I mean, you could get this, and well, if you do not need this, you can actually remove it before you transplant it. So this is gender versus. Let's copy the chart. I do not want to do lots of. So new slide or duplicate slide. Yep, I could delete this and paste on link. I mean, you can leave it, because if you do anything on the other side, it reflects here. So, but I will paste on link. Since this is just for the purpose of so. Oh, so I forgot that this is what it is, right? So please put it in your task and get menu. So you could. So this is all the presentation, right? We're not. This class was not data visualization. So I mean, this is what we refer to as visualization, presenting your data in terms of data analysis, not the full evaluation results now. So what do we have here? Every day of the week, same number from male and female. Is that it? Let us be sure. Okay, so you have this. I need to be very sure, so that so 20% of female and 20% female, male and female. So you yeah, we got it. So 20% of male and female said they use chlorine in purifying semen, and 20% male and 25, which is this 20% male and 5% female, said they use it 3 times in a week. So one great insight that one can take out of this, as someone that reports data, might not necessarily mean you should report all this. I mean, when reporting, and not on the. I mean, if you put it down, then you need to put every what each of this means. But I mean, in quickly reporting, this will be that it will be you saying that yes, 65% of the respondents said that they use chlorine more than 3 times in a week to purify their water. So that's a cool statement to make about that. So yeah, that's how you go about this. So I've actually written for this, and I've written for this as well. You can continue and write for the other parts. Just for presentation sake, I mean, the assignment says you should do 4 slides. Yeah, 4 slides. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how we count it. 1. So this is 1 slide, 2, 3, and we have the 4th one. So I can duplicate this slide. I mean, you can have a, depending on the size of the data you've collected. So I mean, if you have an instrument that is collecting over 45 questions, an instrument that has 45 questions, then note that you'll be dealing with a whole lot of this analysis, and I mean, that's why analysis itself is work. That's why we budget for data analysis on its own. So let's have another one that might be interesting. Yes, child hospital. Let's think about another way is to say that, oh, those that have this category of children number and how they visit the hospital, that also might be. I'm interested in this same gender and child hospital. Let's just do that. And we need a pivot table again. So let's create another one. So for this, let me rename it so that I know it. Gender versus, no, let's say CHL use versus gender, so I can see it. I can quickly see it. So let me take this back and have this as a pivot. And don't forget, you could play around with this columns. Hospitalized child frequency, then values. Boom. So again, I need to see clearly and not work on that. Okay, so let me create another one. Do not miss out on that. Very important. Or times hospitalized. So remove the grand total. So this is about the number of female to male respondent that says that yes, their wards were in the hospital maybe 4 times in the last month, first time within the last 2 months. Yes, that was what was in the question. More than 4 times in the last 2. Then let's do the chart again. So boom. So I have this you could tweak so many things in the axis if you want. Let's copy charts. Look at it. You can download the chart actually as PNG or PDF if you want. So would just copy charts just because I'm using it also in a Google document. That's why if there's a word like that anyways. So again, this is just for demonstration so that we understand what's possible and what's not possible. So I delete this and paste on linked, then I paste it, and I have this here. So let's see what's in the data. So male is red, blue is female. This is getting, so once, we didn't put it in percentages, so yeah, don't forget we had a discussion on thinking about why we wouldn't actually use percentages. I'm going to delete this sheet anyways. Okay, then go back to the PV table and show us percentages, right, of the grand total. So 4 times, those that have children that have gone to the hospital 4 times in the last 2 months, there were only 5% of them. What about ones? Let's see. So this is clear. One says just 20%. What's the least? More than 4 times. Interesting. So not at all is actually 30% said, oh, okay, that's great. Perhaps you could quickly think about 50% line in terms of just a straight line change. We'll talk about what change really means tomorrow. So just to let you know, this might not necessarily tell you that there's a change in the project until something happens. So let's do this again. Just copy, Ctrl C, and add another sheet and paste. So times in hospital. Then again, I'll delete this, or I do not pick it as what I want it to automatically pick. But yes, so let's just dive in. Insert chart. Actually, automatically Google tells you the kind of chart that fits, so you do not need to bother yourself about what kind of charts I want to use. So I mean, you cannot be using a pie chart for this. The bar chart is the most used kind of chart in the world. Forget so many visualizations here and there, but I mean, just look at a document and you will see bar charts in it. So because it's clearer to see and all that, people can easily make inferences and all. So I mean, you should use this all the time. Copy charts and paste on link, paste it here. Yeah, I mean, we have it here already. So not at all, twice, so that's this, bam, bam, bam. So we could say that that's 25%. This is 20, 30%. Okay, 30% of the respondents. So I'm tweaking it. I'm not using male versus female this time around. Let me just put this, so you have to be careful. 30% of respondents said their children did not visit the hospital in the last 2 months. 25% said their ward visited twice. So let's look at once. So once and more than 4 times have the same. Yes, 20%. So some insights. Once and twice. No, once and not at all. Oh, less than twice. this is 1, 50. So then we'll say half of that's a cube. Right? So once and twice. So we have 25 plus 20, right? 25. So we can say it's 45. So this is another way to write it actually. Wow, 30%. Said their words never be said. Within the same period. Super cool, right? So could be this or this. So then you have your 4 slides in terms of your analysis and presenting your analysis. And this makes the work go on. So one thing about SPSS which makes it interesting, instead of you going through those PDs one after the other, you just need to just drop all this data sets inside SPSS images, and it gives you a full result based on drag and drop or which variable that is there. That's why it's quite, that makes it so interesting. So, but this is also interesting as well. You use it to do data analysis of about 50 questionnaires, 50 questions, and more. I like the fact that you can make some presentations with it. Makes it super cool, right? So you could just see it the way it is, and that's it. So, I hope this is actually useful in terms of what we're able to get. So this is what you're supposed to, just before we forget, this is what you're supposed to present and upload. Yeah, you can download it as a, don't forget, you can actually download this as a PDF file, download as a PDF, then upload, turn it inside the classroom, and that will be it for the task for Unit 2. Other than that, thank you so much for listening. If you have comments, suggestions, questions on this, please comment inside the classroom where you have this Unit 2, and we will be able to tag along from there. If you'd like to join this class, that's the link just over here. You can go in here and register for the course, and if you have queries, you can email training@Cloneshouse you want to inquire. or call this number, and you'll get into a conversation. Thanks a lot for listening, and yeah, I see you all in the classroom.